The red pill, an interesting space on YouTube and other broader spaces, other broader platforms on the internet. Well, I'm here to tell you how I got red pilled, which is a kind of a very ecstatic kind of thing to go through or to experience in a way. I think I got red pilled when I just looked and experienced mostly at women and how they behaved in certain situations under certain conditions. Like they would usually do the same thing, say the same things, or give out the same reaction, no matter which woman it was, no matter where they came from, how educated, or how financially stable they were. And I always found it kind of eerie, kind of weird in a way. It was just something that sat at the back of my head. Just like, why is it like this? Why does some of the behavior, some of their actions feel robotic, feel like they've been programmed in a way? Like it comes stock factory with every single woman. And whenever they put in a certain situation or something is said to them in some particular manner, they will all react more or less in the same way. But that's just the general gist of it. My real red pill story started in I was doing my final year in university. And there, university was university. You go, you study, you chill around the park, go out, and mostly party. Studied and partied. That's what we did. That's what our life consisted of. That was most of our life for first and the second year. Uh, Things kind of took a turn. Things kind of changed, and it wasn't talked about. It wasn't something that was like proclaimed or discussed. Like you just notice kind of like the changes in behavior, the changes in the way people moved, how they acted as third year moved along and as it came closer to its end. I continued to act the same way. I studied and I partied, went out, lived my best life, but the woman changed. The woman changed. They started behaving differently. It's like there was some broadcast that was sent out to every single woman, no matter who they were, that it was time. It was time to get serious. It was time to lock down a man, to find someone, and I don't know, kind of like settle down. They stopped partying as much, stopped going out as much. They weren't as much fun anymore. And I just found it odd. I just found it really odd that people that had no connection or had never spoken to each other all reacted the same way at the exact same time. What was it that changed? What happened? Did I miss something? Did I miss some lecture, some public speech that I wasn't there, that I didn't attend, where all of this was discussed and everyone agreed to some particular agenda? Of course I didn't. Well, what I was witnessing was, I'd say, the first epiphany phase. Yeah, the first epiphany phase. And it was a marvel to witness, honestly. It's like not like read about it from some book or hear about it from some YouTube video. It was just me experiencing it firsthand with the people around me, the people that I interacted with. It was such a stark change. drastic difference from the people that they were before that I just couldn't ignore it. And the best part is that this only happened to women because the men all continued doing what they usually did. They studied and they partied. Life was still a joy, life was still fun for the men, but the women not so much. And the men that got into these relationships, I don't think they ever asked. I don't think they ever took some time to sit down and question as to why. Why all of a sudden? It's been fun. It's been party time for most of uni, and all of a sudden this year, all of you at the same time just decide, yeah, it's time. It's time to accept proposal. It's time to settle down and be in a relationship for whatever reason. It changed because all of a sudden, the people you were friends with, the people that were in your group that you spent time with, that you hung around with, that you partied with, whatever kind of like union or bond or emotional resources that you guys spent with each other, that you spent together, that was exhausted, that was no longer being spent within the particular group you happen to be in. Those emotional resources were spent elsewhere, and that created a deficit that you couldn't ignore, that I couldn't ignore. So I had to sit down and ask myself, like, if everyone is changing, if this, whatever it is, whatever wave, whatever flu, whatever message or broadcast that was sent out has made everyone change so much, what does that mean for me? Because apparently I didn't get the message. So I went to the one place that usually has all the answers: YouTube. I feel like YouTube is like the second Google. But yeah, I went to YouTube and I kind of typed out, like, what is happening? Pressed enter and I was blown away. Like, really blown away. Like, the experience itself just kind of like helped to set the foundation and kind of cement the experience in a way. But the research, the knowledge, the learning of the red pill, what it consisted of, what it was, that was mind opening. I learned about things that I think I should have known, but really couldn't articulate well at the time, or even thought about at all. Maybe mostly because I didn't care. It didn't affect me. Hmm. And I learned that there may be some situations, some experiences in my life that should have red pilled me a long time ago, but they didn't. You see, the red pill couldn't just be focused on a singular experience, or you focusing on one specific person that did that one specific thing that maybe could have red pilled you but didn't. No. You need to extrapolate it from a group of people, multiple people, people that don't know each other, people that are disconnected, people from different cultures, different races, different shapes and sizes. And only then, only when you experience, when you see them do the same thing, them change in some specific way, them react in the same way to some specific situation, only then do you question, like, what really is the driving factor, what really is the driving motivation behind these actions. Because it isn't the individual. No, there is no difference. There's something else, there's some program behind it, something deeper, something more profound, more primal within each individual that is spread out across all individuals. And I wanted to know what that was. I studied it, I learned about it, and it came out the other side. And after all that study, I think that with age, men should get red pilled. It should be something that happens to you as you experience, as you go through life, as you interact with people. But I also think it was the right time to get red pilled. Because I think getting red pilled at a younger age, maybe in your teenage years, kind of speaks to a deeper problem within maybe your family or your community. And after I did get red pilled, I tried to maybe acquaint myself with younger people, younger women. Maybe I could recreate the same group, the same camaraderie. And it wasn't the same. Because now I knew, now I had knowledge that even though I was young, the women my age were way older than I was. They had to grow up. And even the young woman, maybe that I would try to fill my life with, I knew there would come a time where they too would grow older than me. Or maybe not in years, but in experience, in life's pressures, I would say. What life expects from them, anyway. Because I had a lot more time to spend. Time they did not. And that was a bitter pill to swallow. And after those repeated experiences with different groups, you kind of grow indifferent in a way to the dynamics, to the maybe the closeness, the feeling of belonging that you had as a child before the age difference came into play. And that is something you can never go back to. You can never unsee it, unlearn it, unknow it. And you just have to find a way to move, something else to do, because I couldn't sit and believe that that was all there was to it. To just go younger and younger and younger as you grow older. And maybe someday you'll find the perfect age, the perfect match to settle and carry on with life. I didn't believe that was all there was to it. I wanted to see more. I wanted to see what other things I'd missed, what other things had I not observed, had I not looked closely at, what other commonalities are there between different groups and how they behave, how they act, the different life pressures. that cause them to make and take drastic decisions as a whole, independent of one another, but still moving the same, still being the same. As infuriating as it was at the beginning to learn this truth, with time the anger fades and you come to appreciate it, you come to accept it for what it is, and you live with it and use that information to move forward and make better decisions with your life.